welcome back. So today got some drag cars on the table and got a bunch of Saturday deliveries. I scheduled all my packages throughout the week to be delivered on Saturday due to me working, but I expected this stuff to show up next Saturday, not this Saturday. So as you see, we got a bunch of drag builds on here and a bunch of packages. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to open up some of these packages. This one I'm not sure about. I kind of think I know what this one is. This white box, I definitely know what it is. And we're going to get into that. But let's go ahead and open up this one because I don't really know what this one is. Because, I mean, I literally just ordered this stuff this week. So, yeah, it's what I kind of assumed it might be, but wasn't expecting it. So, finally got my first Max 5. I run a lot of Castle stuff. And the plans for this Max 5, this is going to go in the Outcast 8S along with this 800 kV motor. So I'm going to run a Castle motor with the Max 5 due to Castle having a lot of issues with their sensors and their motors. They're failing. So I'm not going to run this on censored. So I decided, you know what? Let's get a Max 5. Let's try it. These usually work really good for bashing. So if it doesn't work out and doesn't put enough power in my Outcast 8S, which I doubt it will, this should be a pretty good combo for that. If it doesn't work out there, I'm going to throw this Max 5 in one of the X Maxes. But for now, that's our plan. These two things are going to go into the Outcast 8S. The other thing I got, and this I'm really upset about, I have a set of bearing carriers that I ordered. These are for the DBXL E. At least I hope they're for the E. It says DBXL. I'm assuming the E, the electric, all that are all the same. But as you see, traditional low-C fashion, it comes with all the bearing carriers all the way around. I bought, for my DBXLE 2.0, I broke, no, it wasn't the 2.0, it was the regular one, the DBXLE, the original one. I slammed into a pole, I broke the left front bearing carrier in a control arm. So $400 later, I got it put back together. And I've been ripping it a lot because with the gearing change I made to it, the tuning changes I made to it, the tire change I made on that thing, it's become an animal. It's a fun RC. And the last time I had it out and I was jumping it, when I crashed at that time and I cracked the front bearing carrier, I decided to buy the hot racing one because where the steering link goes in, they were these little carbon fiber pieces, and you could replace them out without having to change the aluminum bearing carrier. Told RC guy about it when he broke his, because his bearings were pulling through on his front as well, like mine did. He went out and bought them because we thought we could buy those carbon fiber little pieces that were $7 for both sides. Well, I broke one of them. I figured no big deal. Looked everywhere, tried to order them. You couldn't. Went to Hot Racing site. They listed the part. It said back ordered. I clicked on it to find a vendor that might have them. It sent me to eBay, and it sent me to a carbon fiber link, but it wasn't for the DBXLE. It was for some other Losi. And so those were wrong. And I'm looking everywhere for these things. So I called RC Guy Garage. I'm like, hey, when you bought yours, I remember you looked them up. Who had them in stock? He's like, let me look. He couldn't find them. Well, I guess he messaged Hot Racing, RC Guy did, and they told RC Guy that they haven't had those parts in since, I think, 2018, or 2018 was the last run of those parts, and they don't plan on replacing them. So now I've got bearing carriers and a carbon fiber piece that I can't replace, and basically Hot Racing is telling RC Guy Garage that either I can pull them off, mail them in, with a receipt, and pay the 50% and get a new set of front bearings. These things are 40 bucks. Doing that is going to cost me 50, and every time I break it, I got to do that. For me, it's not worth it. Plus, I tried to look for another set of brand new front bearing carriers, which there were some sets available for, I want to say $70 or something like that, what I originally paid. And now they're not available. The Hot Racing has now pulled off all that stuff on their page, so they don't even offer it. They show the front bearing carrier. It says back ordered now. They don't even show the replaceable links for it, the little steering ends in carbon fiber. So I'm done. I'm going to throw those things in the trash. I'm going to put on the stock ones and have to deal with the bearings pulling through every time. So with Losi, you got to buy all of them. So I'm going to have a bunch of leftover parts again. If you're curious, that's the part number I go OS 254005, which when I go to install this, I'll show you guys part number again and what's going on with that. But that's what these are. Losi parts, very expensive. This is the package I'm excited about. So, Reefs RC, that's who this is from. They commented on a couple of my build videos, one of them being the missing link, and I thought that was pretty cool that they're actually going out there looking at the builds that their wheels are going on. And so I still have 2 more drag cars that I got to get wheels on. I've just been trying to decide what wheels to run. Ruthless wheels. So I did see Tony CCX RC post up about these. These are their collector series. They're a little bit more money, but they're only making 18 sets of these. And there's another set that I like that are similar to what we're doing on the IROC, just there's no gaps in between this 5-spoke. It's just evenly matched. Kind of looks like, you know, the Proline wheel, but in aluminum. So I will be probably purchasing those as well on their collector series. But I felt very fitting with these drag wheels. Tony showed these, and somebody else showed them, and I can't remember who. But I like the design. Tony wasn't very happy with the design. He liked it, but he's more of a 5-spoke type guy. But I felt that this pattern would go well either on my Mustang build or my Chevy 2 build. I do like the ones we chose for the IROC, and I definitely love the missing link drag wheels. I love this solid wheel with this ripple in the back and this bead lock on it. I'm very happy with this design. I really love this design for an old school build like this. It's very fitting because this reminds me of a Convo Pro. that I used to run back in the day on my 5-liter Mustang. So I really like and dig this design. So, and this fits the missing link perfectly. So with that said, I really feel that these are going to go well on the Chevy. So we're going to go ahead and unbox these things and get them set up on this and see how it looks on the Chevy. And then from there, I'll just have a couple more sets I need to buy for, of course, Watermelon and my Mustang build that's up there, my 5-liter. So I will be getting more as they release more of these wheels, and I like their design. I do have a new company sending some wheels that have bead locks front and rear. I'm waiting for those. They take a long time to build. I guess when you order them, they're not in stock. They have to be built per order. So we're also waiting on those. But shout out to Reefs, and this is something I wanted to talk about. I ordered these this week on Thursday, and I put a notation in there, and I found out that they are in California, so I put a little notation in there. Look, I don't want these wheels delivered Monday through Friday, because they'll throw them at my front door and somebody will steal the packages, because I'm working a lot. I'm not home much. So at this point, I'm like, look, I need a Saturday or Sunday delivery. So I just put a notation in there, hey, Saturday, Sunday delivery, you know, please, if you can. I just can't have it dropped off Monday through Friday. So I don't care if it's next week or the week after, it just has to be a Saturday or Sunday delivery. And that was on Thursday evening. So Friday I get an alert saying your package has been shipped out. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That was fast. Next day he's shipping it out. Come to find out, Reefs next day aired these things. He did a 1-day shipping. Yes, he's in California, but I literally got these things. They were shipped out Friday. I got them Saturday. So I thought that was real cool of him to go ahead and, of course, read the notation, which a lot of vendors do not do. And two, get me my product the next day. So check out that front wheel. Look at that design. A mirror finish. Really a lightweight wheel. And what he was doing was screwing the rings to each wheel. And I think because this is the collector series, he's not attaching them so they don't get scratched up. I'm going to install them anyway. They're not going to be a package queen for me. But as you see now, the rings are separate. And that's a really good looking wheel, I think, for me. Kind of reminds me of a spider web. Now, I also remember 2 packages of these, but you don't need the center lug nut deal because he didn't drill holes in the center here to add the 5 for the lug nut design. So that's something unique, and I didn't notice before because I kind of like those bolts there. But whatever. Still a cool looking design to me. I really like the wheel. I love the quality of them. I still wish the front were bead locks. That would really help out, having these front wheels bead locks instead of having them gluing. But like Tony and everybody says, use shoe goo. A couple dabs of it so you can take it off. It's not driving off the front wheels, but my biggest concern is when you get out of shape and you're turning that wheel at 40 miles an hour and it's pushing the front end. If you don't have that glued all the way around and it's only glued in spots, it could rip that glue off. That's my biggest concern, and then cause damage to these expensive front runners. So I'm probably going to end up gluing them all the way around. Find some lighter weight glue, I guess you would say. Something that doesn't stick as much. And go that route. But I got to try to see if I have some tires. All right. So get these tires put on. I want to show you guys some different compounds to these tires. So when you're drag racing, you gotta have a big selection of tires, which I normally do. So, a couple of things. So Proline makes the Hoosier tires, which everybody knows I run on a lot of my vehicles, but they came out with, once you hit a certain speed, with the Hoosier tires, because they're not a belted tire, they're just either they're really a soft like clay compound, which works good on asphalt, on 2S, that kind of stuff. If you don't have a belted tire, then when you start hitting those speeds, 70, 80 miles an hour, you know, well, I'd say 45 miles an hour on up, what happens is the tire balloon's so big that you end up getting high and low spots on the tire, and then the tire becomes no good. And if you saw the unboxing of the DR10, which was the missing link, the factory tires would do that a lot. They would get real choppy. They'd get high and low spots in them. So the tires would junk like right away, because everybody was running that thing, trying to run it on 3S, which 2S is all those tires were really meant for. So Proline has something called the reaction tire. Now the reaction tire, notice it doesn't have any white lettering on it, any of that kind of stuff, but you'll read it's a belted tire. So, and this is an S3 compound. Part number is 10170-203. It's soft. It's an S3. And of course, it's a 2.2 and 3.0 for the rim that you're running. Short course truck. And of course, rear. Now this is the same belted tire, so S3 compound. So that's going to be for, you know, those. I run a lot of 3 and 4S on some of my builds, and that's why I put bigger ESCs in them, because I run them for the unlimited class. I'm not running a specific class. It's run what you brung, heads up, as fast as you can go, and I'll run these belted tires. Now, if I'm running a spec class, usually like a stock DR10 or a stock Slash, something like that, something built for a group, that's when we'll go ahead and run. Out here in California, I like the S3 compound in the orange, which is a soft compound, or you can do the purples. And that's a clay compound, a little harder compound, that for like the middle of the day, those hot days, you know, 80 degrees, 70, 80 degrees outside, on blacktop, you're going to want to run something like this purple compound. But early morning, when you start the event for first round, you're going to want to run something like an S3 or maybe even softer, depending on where you live. So, and then on the fronts, I run purples usually up front, because we're going in a straight line, don't need a lot of grip. So I'll run, you know, usually purples, or you can run the S3 compound up front too, because it really doesn't matter. But one thing I did run a while ago was the J Concepts fronts, and I like them. So this one has got a little bit of tread pattern in it, which I want to give these a shot. So I'm going to mount, I think, these up, these J Concepts, and I'm going to do a set of belted tires for this setup. So just wanted to talk about that a little bit. And I'll always bring all my sets of spare rims that are glued, and I have blank spare rims that I can glue early on in the track, so that when you're running you can switch them out without having to wait for glue to dry, that kind of stuff. We're going to go ahead and get a set of those mounted up and get put on this Nova 2, or Chevy 2 I should say. I keep calling it a Nova. A lot of people call it a Nova, but it's, I think, called a Chevy 2. I hate the smell of these tires. These smell terrible. But they don't bulge, they don't stretch, they're not soft. So I think that's going to work really good for what I'm trying to do, at least the application I'm trying to do. On the IROC and on a couple of my other cars. Now, when I'm running at the event, even though I have tires on all of these, I'll pull them off and I'll switch them between cars, depending on what's working that day. I'm gonna get those rims off and we're gonna start assembling these things. Be right back. So I have got a lot of questions lately about what drivers do I use. I do use the Bosch. I use Ryobi, but the main one I use is my Snap-on forward and reverse, and it has where I can limit the impact so that I'm not over tightening anything. So this is the tool I really like, made by Snap-on, so works really, really good. So we're gonna get a set of these put on. So you just kind of slip it on, then on the back you're gonna have to lift it up and over. So once you get it like that, I take the foam, position the foam where I want it, and then this thing has to go into this groove. So I'll tuck it in. Sometimes they're very hard to get into these grooves, depending on your tire, but make sure that it's in that groove. So instead of pushing on the sidewall, push on that inner lip like the ring was pushing on it. Pretty noisy outside today on a sunny day. Come on. That screw is really short. A lot of noise outside on the pool. Why is that not biting? These screws seem like they're a little too short for these bead locks. They're like barely coming out the other side. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's not leaving me enough room to actually start the thread, which is weird because his other ones were longer. I wonder if they gave us the wrong screws. I'm gonna pull off one of the other ones just to see the length. Yeah, see, that's a lot longer than the screw he gave us. So I have literally all the wrong screws with these wheels. So Reefs RC sent me literally all the wrong screws, so it won't screw in. That kind of sucks. Wow. And it's a fine line. The one he sent me were the ones for, yeah, see, that screws in perfectly. Wow. So now I'm going to have to contact Reefs and let them know that I literally have all the wrong screws. That he sent me a bag of short screws. As you can see, look at how short they are. It's only short by a couple of threads, but that's enough on these wheels to where you can't get them to bite. Yeah, that sucks. These screws are all wrong. So that's not going to work. I might have to steal half off the other ones just to get them mounted up for now. All right, so went ahead and got them mounted up. Took basically half the screws out of both sets over there so that I can get them mounted up, so I can do a little bit of testing. The short screws, once you get the other ones started pretty much halfway around, you can use the short ones and they'll bite a couple threads, and hopefully will hold till I can get Reefs to send out some more screws. But take a look at that. Man, just like I thought, that thing's looking fire. And look at the tread pattern on that J Concepts fat front tire. Now I have to wash them to get that release agent off the rubber, but man, that thing looks sick. Look at the sparkle in that thing. Reflections are amazing, and the offset is perfect. Wheel and tire clears perfectly. So there we go. So take a look at this one. Yeah, see that Convo Pro look in the back, the wrinkle around that outer ring really gets the reflections shining. That solid dish looking great. On that IROC, those wheels are fitting. More of a modern look, I feel, with this style wheel. Reefs RC has really nailed this lineup. So there we go, guys. So like, comment, subscribe. Video's getting kind of long. So we'll see you guys on my next video. Let me know what you think about the Reefs drag lineup. Got a couple more sets to put on more of my drag cars until we get them all replaced out.